Well, I will tell you from personal experience, when I'm working with clients, they absolutely are so terribly excited to be retired. They cannot wait, particularly if you're in the medical field or an attorney or finance or someplace that's high stress, man. After 20 years of medicine, you cannot wait till you retire. You put a nice little nest egg together and you retire, and you're thinking, oh my God, I am going to have so much fun. It's never going to be the same again. I am just going to have a blast. Well, and that happens. So you have a blast for a few years, but let's just talk about what happens, because I'm going to tell you, here's what happens. Inflation just ruins your life. It just destroys your purchasing power, and nest egg you put together shrinks and shrinks quickly. And you find yourself at 80 or 85 or 90 years old, and you're working at a part-time at one of the hardware stores or a coffee shop or one of the big discount stores, and you're 80 years old working part-time 20 hours a week just so that you can keep your electric bill going. So let me just talk about what's going on. Now look, at inflation is the culprit. Since we had the Federal Reserve 1913, I'm going to tell you we've lost almost the entire purchasing power has been gone in about 110 years, completely destroyed. So that you can take a look at this. So here we are in 1913. You can see it was at $1,000. It just dropped down. And here we are in the 2020s. Excuse me. And our purchasing power is down like $1 or $2 from $1,000. Now you can see we had right after the World War II, when Europe was devastated and the world was devastated. The U.S. was the only country still standing. That dollar reserve, we went up because everybody wanted our dollars. And since then, it has dropped like a rock. And here we are. Now, this affects you. This affects you tremendously. Now, let's bring this forward a little bit to when we were just kids, because this is what happened to me. This is when I started when I got my first career in real estate. So purchasing power since I got in business in 1974 has dropped 84%. So if you retired and you lived all this time, which would be a long time, but possible, so maybe you retired when you're 50 and you're now 90, well, that means that most of your money is gone. So if you had a $100,000 income thing, I am on top of the world, this time later, you know what you got? You got about $10,000. Now, how in the world are you going to live on $10,000 or $20,000 a year? It's not going to happen. Let me go to my next slide. Now, this comes from Lakshman Akuthan from Economic Cycle Research Institute. What people don't realize is that inflation comes in waves. And this is looking at the 70s and 80s waves, but we're mimicking that right now. Let me go to my next slide. You can see it even better. So we start looking at this coming out of Bureau of Labor Statistics, and you can see how these waves are mimicking what we saw in the 70s. And we're probably right around down here because it's come down. Inflation's the rate of inflation, so not deflation, where prices have come down. So we've just gotten creamed on our prices, and they haven't gone down in value. But the rate of going up has slowed, and so we're probably down here. But we've got this yet to go. This will be the killer. We're looking at 12, 13, 14% is what's on my charts coming at us. So add that to it. Just think what's going to happen to your purchasing power to do that. So you need to do something about it. That's what this video is about. You need to do something about that, or you're going to be left in the dust. You want to be 85 years old, living at your great niece whom you never really knew, or living on a street, living at someone else's charity? You want to be in a home somewhere, renting a room for the $1,000 that you get from your savings, and then you're done? You don't want to do that. You want to live well. You can do that, but you have to be proactive, because if you don't do this, you are going to be a pauper, and you're going to be terribly, terribly unhappy. Let me go to my next slide here, and let's just start talking about what we've got here. Let's go to this one. So look at this. This is what we're talking about. Just from all the crazy spending that we've had in the last 4 years, you've lost 17%. That means if you have $100,000 a year income when you retire in 2020, thinking I am on top of the world, I got $100,000. Now you only have 83. So in 4 years, you've lost 17% of your purchasing power, and you quit at 65, you're 69 years old, and you've already lost a big chunk of how much income you have coming. Now you're starting to find out that maybe I don't want to go out to restaurants anymore because I can't afford it. And you're retired, which means you left your job, you left your income, you left when you're probably on top of your game, and now things aren't going your way. Now, if you don't do something about it, you are going to be in big trouble. So I want you to look at this. Look at this. So from 2020 to April of 2024, you lost 17% of your purchasing power. That same time frame, rent went up 28%. So if you're renting, now you're really in trouble. But if you own the rental, it's staying above the inflation, and it's a premium above that. So not only do you get the inflated rate of inflation, but you're getting above that. Let me go to my next slide. So rent has gone up every year since 1941, except during the great financial crisis where it leveled off. You can see it right here. It just leveled off. Didn't go down. It just leveled off. Now, it's a great time to own a rental property. I'm going to tell you that right now. So if you don't own a rental property, you need to start thinking about getting one. Actually get two, because rent is non-discretionary. If we go into recession, people will do everything they can to keep their rent. Now, I own properties. We went through a couple of these. So during the great financial crisis, what we found was that people were more concerned with keeping their rent. They were losing their job. They had fewer and fewer hours to work. All the overtime was cut down. They were very, very concerned about spending. And our maintenance went down. Our management went down, because if they lost our rental, odds are they couldn't get another one. So they're very, 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 very concerned about keeping track of this. And we're telling you, here's what we instituted in my group, is that for the last 2 years, we've been concerned about tenant quality, not rent maximizing. So we've been maximizing the tenant, not maximizing the rent. We want people who are in good businesses that have been there for a long time. They have they're seasoned in their work. They got good credit. Now, I'm going to tell you that I just leased one of my properties, and here in Phoenix, Arizona, our rent is right around $2,200 a month. That seems to be that's the average rent. Now, property I just leased, the comparables for the rent show me between $2,000 and $2,300. I leased it at $1,995. Leased it in 3 days. Had 5 applications on it. I got a very, very good tenant. Leased it right away. I kept my management down, my maintenance down, and my vacancy to next to nothing. And they stayed there all this time because they're very happy to have this. They had good credit, good income, and are preparing for a downturn. You need to talk to your management company and say, what are my tenants doing? If you've got bad tenants, you need to weed them out and get better tenants. Start working with your tenants, because you do not want to be vacant coming to this. So let me go to my very next slide, and let's just talk about that. Now, I told you that you lost 17% in purchasing power. We're telling you that we find in our group that you need to have at least 2 rentals. Now, we have passive rentals. All of our properties are managed by professional managers. They rent them for you. They take care of all the repairs. They collect the rent, and they send you a check. So you don't have to get involved with it, but you get the benefits of this. So remember that chart I was showing you that purchasing power declined by 17%, but rent went up 28%. If you had 2 of these, you're making money. You're maintaining your purchasing power, and your life is going to be so much better. Now, here's what's going on. Now, this is the median sales price in the United States of a median U.S. home. Now, it's in dollars. It's not seasonally adjusted. It's not an index. It's not the Case-Shiller index. Case-Shiller index is, I'm not privy to the exact calculations, but my understanding is it's an average. I will tell you that higher end properties are selling more than lower end, because a higher end, they don't need to worry about financing. So when more houses sell on a high end, that drives the average, it gets pulled up. Now, the median doesn't change that much. So we're taking a look at this. So in Q4 2022 has been the peak. Now, that's where this was. So we can see the peak. It's very, very similar to what happened here. You can clearly see 2 peaks. Now, the second peak was higher. This one, we still have 442.6. has not been exceeded. So probably peak number one is going to be it. But you can certainly see this, and you can see that we just got this in Q2. This is only at July 24th. So it's a very, very good data. And it went down. Let me go to my next slide. Excuse me. So here we are. This is coming. I'm home based in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a great marketplace. This is put together by John Wake. He's been collating all of this. And I will tell you that July 2024, we just got that data. It's down to 440 from 450. So this is the peak. This peak came in July of 2022, June 2022, at 479.6. And has not been exceeded, just like the median. You can see where it's bounced around a little bit, came up a little bit, and it's come down. So this was May and June were both for 450, and July is down to 450 or 440. So it's coming down. I expect it to come down here. Now, if you look over here, this red line is the amount of listings that we had in 2006. So we got down to 2,930 properties available for sale in all of Phoenix in June of 2006. 4 million people here. We got less than 3,000 rental properties for sale. And 12 months later, just 12 months later, we had 33,000 homes for sale in 12 months. It jumped up 30,000 listings. Now, this green line is the same as this green line. You can see the peaks. We peaked here. This is the most important one because this is where all the exuberance. There's lots and lots of sales. So these are medians. So we're probably selling, 10,000 a month here and only 3 or 4 here. But the prices hadn't fallen yet. So you can see it's very, very similar to what's going on now. And then waterfall down. 2008, 2009, prices tumbled here. We wore the hat for the worst market in the United States, and it just crumbled. I expect that's going to be the case over here too. We're going to come down. Probably not so much as Phoenix. I think Austin, Texas, and lots of places in Florida, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston. I think these people are going to have some trouble. I go on next slide. And it just reiterates my timing model. We've talked about this many, many times. We are at the top. Now, remember, it's not a point. Remember, it's kind of a process. So this has been 2 years, and that's what it's going to take. We are getting to the end of this, and we are here, and we are going to come here. And it's going to come down, and it's probably going to mirror the going up. So left side went up. This is going to come down in the same fashion. So we had months where it went up 3.5% a month. We're going to have months where it went down 3.5% because I think it's going to go back to where it was. And it's going to retrace all the way back, and it should straighten itself out. So it will probably go further than where our statistics say because I think it's going to be tough. But it's rolling over, so you need to be very, very aware that risk is very high. Now, and this is just a signpost along the way that's just confirming it. So it got this morning. This is August 29, 2024. I got this from Zero Hedge, pending home sale index at a record low for July of 2024. I'm telling you that June and July are the best months we have. June and July. June, best month. July, right behind it. And we set a record for worst sales ever. Interest rates came down too. So I'm going to tell you, the Federal Reserve is behind the curve, and this is mirroring the great financial crisis. I think that we have home sales are going to prices are going to tumble. This is coming out of my data. I think you'd be very, very remiss if you're going to start buying any discretionary rentals at this point. Please contact us. We'll do the calculations for you and see if it's safe to get in the water with these things. So. Let me go to my next slide and let's just take a look at that and see if we can wrap this up. Now, I'm telling you that our timing model is working just perfectly. This is coming from Charles Hugh Smith. He's talking about the .com, but a bubble is a bubble. And so I want to, our looks very, very similar to this too, but we're not giving away our our data. So I want to tell you that all these bubbles are the same. I'm going to guess we're right about here somewhere on the real estate asset class, and we're going to roll down here. Now, this is going to give you 4 buying opportunities that are just going to be fabulous. You're not going to get this opportunity again for 17 or 18 years. A lot of us are going to be gone at that point. So I'm going to tell you, you need to get your money together. Be very, very careful at this time. And this is where good some of the best properties are bought. Now, it's not the lowest. That'll be here. But these are good properties. This is where people get themselves in trouble and they put their portfolio up for sale. And the best properties in the portfolio sell. And this is where they're sold. And then, of course, they re-rent the other ones and they're eventually sold here. But the really good ones are sold right here. That's coming. Now, I'm not telling you to put all your eggs in one basket and buy them here. But if you're going to buy 4, I'd certainly buy one in the next 9, in about 9 months' time. That's when we're going to see this. So this is where I'm at. You're welcome to call us. We consult all the time. We'd love to get together with you. We'd love your business and see if we can't be part of your team and work together and see if what's going to work for you. We'll talk to your advisors. This is coming. If you're short on your retirement, you need some more income in your retirement, you are going to get an opportunity to make up all that you didn't do. It's coming. So probably just a good, very good, you should be glad that you didn't buy. This is going to be a better time to buy. It's coming. If I can help in any way, give me a call. My best to you. Bye-bye.